All right, guys, welcome back. We are watching ReZero Season 2, Episode 15, I think. On my file, it just says it's Season 2, Part 2, Episode 2. So it's one of those. 15, 14, something like that. Either way, last time, Subaru made a bet on himself. Very, very good. Very nice. Betting against Rosewall, doing exactly the opposite of what I think Rosewall wants by supporting Amelia instead of trampling on her, like, self and anything that she wants to do, like through her own power and everything, right? Very good, very good. Puck is gone. Makes sense, I believe, right? Puck going away, and Rosewall. Well, it's unclear exactly how Rosewall and Amelia's relationship is going to be in the future, but both of them were people who, in a sense, were kind of obstacles for Amelia being able to, like, act through her own will, right? And so was Subaru, in a sense, right? So his changing attitude towards her is a good thing. And we have a plan going down with whatever is going on with Subaru and Oto and Garfield and all this stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to follow. So yeah, I don't know. We're watching episode 14, 15, something like that. You can line your copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Let me make sure my volume. Okay. Where is she? Garfield just isn't one for talking very much. Yeah, exactly. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Part of the conspiracy. Oh god. Okay. That was a very nice. Hey, is that true though? I wonder. There's no way Oto's just down with that, right? Oh. Oh, fuck. Okay. Right. Right. The perfectly executed. Impressive. Very impressive. Right, right. Oh. Oh, right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Zoda bugs. Sure. What are they gonna do to him? Something. Alright, alright. I mean, I knew I shouldn't underestimate Oto. I knew he was gonna have this down. I love him so much. Oh. Oh, big. Backstory. Yeah, all the sounds, right? It must be so hard to, like, get used to, right? Yeah. Do we have an explanation for, like, how or why? Yeah, it's just a blessing. Yeah, yeah. The soul of language, divine protection. Must have really worried his parents, right? Oh, he can't even hear her. Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. I just hope as he got older, he was able to, like, explain it, right? At some point. But as a kid, that must be rough. Hmm. So I wonder how these blessings, these divine protections, right? Because, like, there's felt too. How does that work? Yeah, writing is definitely a way to get around it, right? Yeah, yeah. I wonder if, like, him learning how to talk at all was, like, very delayed because of the. Oh God, what's it say? Hmm. Oh, the way it's like they're drowned out like that, you know? Oh. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Huh. I feel like there's like some real world like analogs to this. You know what I mean? Certainly something a lot of parents go through with like just issues a child might have that they don't understand. What is that? Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So it started as just like the meaningless droning sound. Yeah. What is their voice? I wonder if that helps him as like a merchant. No kidding, huh? Very, very. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Has he kept it hidden? Yeah, for... Hmm. Because it's like you would think this kind of power would be... Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what... Oh, God. I don't know what, like, society thinks about this kind of thing in this world, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. What's that do? Oh, he sure can. He sure can. Oh God, maybe that's a little bit much, huh? That's gonna look like he's like bringing a plague. Yeah, or not plague, the pestilence, I guess, right? Sealed my divine protection. Interesting. I wonder how old he is now. Hmm. Find out the truth. That's a great cat voice there. Yeah, uh-huh. Hmm. Okay. Oh God. Whoa. That felt like such an abridged version of it. I feel like that has to be expanded upon more, like in the novels, right? I'm sure. Yeah. So much money. Good job. Good job. Until you, what was it that he bought that Subaru had like offered to buy it from? It was like a bunch of oil or something. Until you made that mistake. I love Oto. I love Oto. Oh, pedal geese. I. What's up, man? Okay. Ooh, at the cave, right? Yeah, where Subaru was. What a predicament. Ooh, the light like leaving his eyes there. So silent. Oh, this guy. Ricardo, that was his name, right? God, that is a ridiculous sword. Hmm. Interesting. I don't agree with that. Come on. That's that's the attitude Oto is fighting against in Subaru too, right? Come on. I mean, well, what a whiplash, right? He was so sure he was gonna die, you know. Yeah, yeah. Every time I cry, it marks a rebirth in my life. Oh, right, right, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. God, I love Oto so much. That was a good scene. That was a good scene. I feel like there definitely could have been more to it. Like, I'm sure they cut stuff out, sadly. But, you know, they only have so much time. Ooh. Oh, okay, okay. He's good at calculations. I don't say that. Yeah. Come on. Oh. What happened? Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, is that from using it? Why, though? Why does it have that effect? Interesting, though. This is the kind of thing Super wants to avoid so badly. Other people getting hurt for him, right? Hmm. God, and it makes sense why Oto is so frustrated with Subaru's, like, lack of communication, too, right? Because that was such a big part of his, like, childhood in a way, you know? Oh, God. Oto got this. Come on. What is that? A bomb? Sure. It's right, right. You are just the carriage driver. Hmm. Oh God, oh. See, I don't believe that Garfield is just gonna like kill him, right? But then the question is, what is Garfield? God, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll get to find out, huh? Oh. Thing is, oh God, Garfield has no idea what they're doing at all, right? Oh God, he's standing on top of another hole. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Why, though? Bought a lot of time. Alright, there's your stone. That we still don't really understand what they do exactly, but... Oh, a rib! Oh, fuck, okay. Nice. Maybe this is Garfield's weakness, right? Thank you, thank you. Yeah, like, come on. You don't always have to say something like that. um, maybe. Not really, though. He agreed to the bet, right? Ooh. God. Ore-sama. What's that supposed to mean? Okay, okay. That's just not really the question, I guess, right? Yeah. Sure. Whatever. Whatever you say. God, if only she remembered Rim, huh? When it's do or die. No kidding, no kidding. Sure, sure. That's definitely what he seems like to everyone, right? With Return by Death. I said, whoa. Oh god, right, yeah. I don't know if we are a match for this, huh? I mean, Ram's pretty awesome, but... Like, there's... Oh god, is he really, like... I don't know, I don't know. Okay, nice. You know, with his attitude, I don't know. Sure. Oh god, okay. Oh. Maybe Ram really is his weakness, huh? He's helpless. Oh, okay. Her horn? Yeah. Uh, sure. Oh, that sound. Oh god, there's no way you're faster than him. Okay. I hope that did something. I just don't want anyone to die, right? I don't want Garfield to die. I'm worried about Garfield murdering people. I hope that doesn't happen too. Okay, okay. Let's do your part. What do you... Let's just see. Let's just see. How's he gonna approach this? Oto Surin. Suin, I suppose. Not sure how to pronounce that, frankly. Sure. Yes, he does. Whatever you're saying... Ooh. Oh, she must just be feeling so... Oh. Yeah. Oh. Of course not. Just relieved. But she always expects that, right? Her mind always goes to that, right? When she thinks she's, like, been abandoned, or... She always thinks people will abandon her for a reason like that, right? Oh. No. No. It's because that's part of a relationship, right? No, it's not because he has no expectations for you. No. No, no. Yeah, right? Right. Hmm. Oh, the broken... Yeah. It has to be so hard because she has so few people to rely on that when she feels like this about them... Sure. Mm-hmm. Just the past. I suppose. Right, right. And she can. Right. I guess. Yeah, yeah. I does say that. But that's not because he hates you. That's not because he, it's because he has expectations of you. He thinks you can do things, right? Like she just automatically defaults to this. Everyone thinks I can't do anything, and they abandon me. Sure, sure. Right, right. Putting others before yourself. Oh. It's no. That's no. Okay. Right. That's yeah. That's how like relationships work, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. People aren't just gonna abandon you, right? But I understand why she feels that way. Her and his eye. It's too selfish, is it? For him, for her to be loved, she thinks like that's selfish. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. God. What do you say to that, though? Yeah. What do you say to that? Oh. I'm so worried. Yeah, exactly. I knew she was gonna take it like that, right? That's because yeah, yeah. But you're feeling about what? Wanting to reject that? Wanting to reject people caring about you because it like hurts? Exactly, right? But it has to go both ways, right? I shouldn't be doing that either. Maybe this is what we need. This is what we need, though. No. But she can't accept it, right? Because of the way she thinks she's like not worthy of it, right? She thinks she has to do something to earn it. And so therefore if she doesn't get it, if anyone does anything to but but is that fair, right? Is that fair? You know what I mean? Like is that a fair way to look at it, right? I don't think so. It's not like she can have no expectations, right? But like hmm yeah. Oh, and that's so feels like she like abandoned them in a way, right? Those memories. Right. Yeah, because it's like who you are is made up of your memories so strongly, right? Oh. 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 Yeah. You're still you. You're still Amelia, right? Right. Oh, God. But you will always be you, though, right? You were always you. So, exactly. It's like she's worried if her... God. Sure. Oh, God. God, her eyes so cloudy, this whole time. Oh, wow, okay. Sure, right. Ah, I love Amelia so much. Oh my God. And she didn't dodge, right? And she didn't dodge. So what does that mean, right? Right, exactly, right? You can't change to a point where yeah, he's not gonna stop loving you, right? She thinks she has to earn it. God. Uh-huh. And that doesn't mean he loves you for no reason, too, right? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Sure, yeah. Oh, what a good line. What a good line. God. Find what? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and that doesn't have to be love for him specifically, right? Exactly. But it doesn't have to be, right? Just like, oh God, what a good scene. What a good scene. Sure. Maybe so. Just like for Subaru, what he just said, right? About his. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. It's her eyes cleared. Subaru is in them. A reason to believe. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys. Oh my God. What the hell? God, there's Garfield. Jesus Christ, what an episode, huh? Man, have we finally done it? Have we finally topped episode 13 of season 1? We might have. I think we have. No, I really think we have, right? I think for sure. Wow. Wow. Okay. That was a really good episode. Um, all right. We'll talk about it in the discussion. Let's talk about the episode. What an amazing episode. That was so good. Is it a coincidence that like the two best scenes and the two best episodes of the show have been Subaru and Amelia arguing with each other? It's maybe. This author's really good at this, apparently. Right? Writing two people having an argument. I don't know. It's crazy because both times in this scene and in episode 13, it's like it is made so many things just so clear about these characters, like in a way where it's like they're finally like revealing all of these thoughts and feelings they have about like their relationship like to the other one, right? I guess really this is like a perfect parallel kind of to the episode 13 scene at the end between Subaru and Amelia, right? In that case it was just Subaru the one Subaru was the one saying a bunch of stupid shit. In this one, I love Amelia, but you know what I mean? She was the one saying a bunch of stupid shit, right? In terms of like her emotions and like just her the way that she views their relationship and it just being like not a healthy way to look at it, right? Um, no, like, what a good scene, huh? It's so good. It's so good. Because it's like it's so realistic, right? It's not like Subaru showed up and knew perfectly exactly what to say and what to do and how to comfort her and everything, you know. Um, it wasn't anything like any of the, you know, I their relationship has been pretty smooth sailing for a while in terms of like, you know, they've had some very nice, just like calm scenes where they like really understand each other and just kind of have like nice, you know, very nice interactions, and that's good and all, but I God, this is like what we want, right? For them to like really understand each other and like move forward, right? Like to really, for Amelia to actually like bear her insecurities about like this to him, right? It's like a required step for her to like, for them to have like an understanding of each other and all of this. Like, just so good, so insanely good. I don't even. Wow, wow. I don't even know where to start with it because it's like every line, every moment of it is just like so perfect, right? I guess what it all boils down to, what Amelia's problem here is, I guess, at least what I'm taking from it, I suppose, is she has faced a lot of horrible stuff in her life, right? That because of like the half elf racism, right? People like treating her so badly forever, right? I guess I should stop calling it racism. It's just specifically silver haired half elf thing. It has nothing to do with like being a half elf, right? Yeah, it's the combination, right? Um, but she has faced a lot of adversity and like unfair discrimination and that kind of thing, which has led her to have this attitude where like she feels like she has to earn the like affection of other people, right? She like all of these people that she's ever met or talked to at all have this automatic like preconception, like negative preconception of her, right? Because of just this unfair bias against her, right? Because she's a silver-haired half elf, right? So in her relationship with Subaru, um, she refuses to accept that he's in love with her, right? Or at least she refuses to accept it in this situation, right? Um, because she thinks she has to like do stuff to earn that love, right? She thinks that the only way she can be in a relationship with someone, the only way that she can have Subaru love her is for her to like do like the kinds of things she was doing in episode 11 of this season, right? When she lost her mind, giving him a lap pillow, doing all it's acting so like so bubbly and so saying she loved him, all of that stuff, you know. It's all these things that she imagines that Subaru would really want to hear from her so that she could like earn his affection because she felt abandoned by him, right? She was down that same path right here, essentially, right? Just Subaru, I'd talk to her before she went crazy, you know? Like, I guess I imagine that if she had undergone the trial again, perhaps, since she has her memories, things might have been different, right? But if she had undergone the trial again and faced all of that, it might have ended up like it did in episode 11, right? This feeling of abandonment would have just spiraled down into that, right? So she feels like she has to earn his affection, right? She can't accept that the love can come first, right? That he just loves her and she isn't going to like she doesn't have to constantly work for it, for this idea of like doing all of these things that she imagines Subaru's wants. Sorry, I had to have a brief intermission where I just rewatched the whole scene again. I felt like I had to, right? It's so good. Um, so this conversation starts with like her. Of course, she expects Subaru will be angry with her, right? She thinks like her insecurities about all of this is she just thinks like essentially she's been taken too long to do the trial, right? Like, because she keeps failing the trial, she feels like she's not meeting those expectations that other people have for her, that she believes are like a prerequisite for others to like care about her, right? Like when Puck leaves, right? When Puck leaves, when Subaru abandoned her, she views it as some kind of personal failure on her end. This idea that she isn't doing enough to like keep people in her life that care about her, you know? That's why it's so hard for her to accept someone just loving her essentially unconditionally. It's not entirely unconditional. I think that can be a dangerous way to think about things in a way. We're certainly not going that far right now. But like, you know what I mean? She can't accept that someone like Subaru can love her despite that, right? Despite her not living up to these expectations in her mind that she thinks exist, right? So she asks him, "You're not angry at me, right?" And he says, "You know, I was. Were you actually afraid I'd be mad at you? I'm not angry." And so, like, she doesn't accept that, right? Her eyes. I like how her eyes like change between these because I think she just like doesn't believe him, right? It can't just be brushed aside that easily, right? She literally does not believe him that he's not angry at her. And furthermore, probably she thinks that like if he isn't angry at her, then his feelings for her just like can't be genuine at all, right? Because I mean that's just how far it goes for her, right? She thinks that he must be like maybe not faking it, but like his feelings for her can't be like genuine, you know? Because again, she thinks that like the backbone of that is she has to like earn it, right? Yeah, you're not angry at me. You won't even get angry. Right, right. Because like if he got angry at her, that would like prove it to her in a way, right? She thinks that the people getting angry at her like this is you know, she wants to work hard to meet these expectations, and she thinks if she doesn't meet them, people should get mad at her, right? Of course, I mean that's how she's like been conditioned to live for her entire life, essentially, right? Hmm. I worried you by leaving without saying anything. Which, God, it exposes the double standard in her head, like for herself. So like a negative version of it for herself. So clearly, by her like her saying this, right? I worried you by leaving without saying anything. That's exactly what Subaru just did to her, right? That is exactly what he just did to her. But essentially what she's saying here is that she thinks Subaru should be like really mad at her for doing that, right? When like she's not like furious with Subaru, right? She's upset, she's disappointed, she has very negative emotions about it. She feels abandoned, right? But she doesn't feel like Subaru is like this loser that she wants to, you know, give up on forever. Like she thinks people will feel about her, right, for doing things like that, you know? So it's so God, it's so sad that she thinks about herself like that. Yeah, are you not angry because you didn't expect anything in the first place, right? Because it's like if he got angry with her, if he doesn't get angry with her in her head, then that means yeah, he must have no expectations that he never expected anything in the first place. So what is there to be mad about, right? Because I, you know, she's just you know, Amelia could never do anything anyway, so who cares, right? God, kind of me even when I mess up because you're not even disappointed in me, right? And it's so perfect, right? It's crazy how we've talked about this for so long that Amelia has always like in a sense been denied the opportunity to like do things by herself, right? And prove herself in a way where like, you know, other people don't just do things for her, you know? And in a sense, I guess it's clear now that that is probably her life being like that has kind of been orchestrated like by Rosewall, probably partially, right? Also Subaru, right? Obviously Subaru, like I'm not saying what Subaru's done for her is bad because I think it's a negative like thought spiral she goes down that has led to her to like view things in this way. But Subaru helping her all the time too, that contributes to it, right? Because she has this negative mindset. It makes her think that, you know, oh, it's part of people thinking I can't do anything by myself, right? Obviously, that's why she reacts so negatively to Subaru having suggested before that he could do the trial instead, right? And that's why Rosewall wants him to do it, right? To like trample on her self-esteem, you know? Why didn't you keep your promise? Okay, so this is I am not sure what to think about this exactly. I feel like my thoughts on it haven't been fleshed out fully. I guess in the reaction, my initial thoughts on this is like is it fair for her to expect like this kind of I guess I don't know what to call it, right? What she says later is like that if Subaru had just stayed by her side, then like this, you know, everything wouldn't be a problem. She would be able to believe him all of this, you know. I guess my problem with that line of thinking is that then we wouldn't have had this argument, and it wouldn't have led to like this moment, which clearly represents this kind of emotional growth for Amelia, right? So I guess it's not like she can't expect people to keep their promises, right? Obviously. And I understand her being very sensitive to, like, abandonment and that kind of thing, right? But at the same time, it's like, if Subaru had stayed by her side this whole time, and if people kept giving her positive feedback through, like, this, like, system that she set up, like, for herself, like, meeting people's expectations in this way, right? Um, then she would never be forced to, like, think about it and, like, change it. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't want to say that was Subaru's intention, or that that was like Subaru was like 4D chess mind gaming this stuff, and like that's why he left her last night. I imagine it was just literally we had crazy conspiracy plans going on, like how to put it, right? He just literally couldn't stay there all night, right? Um, and I feel bad for her, but I guess it's just the question is like, is it I don't think it's good to react like this, I guess, to someone not just sitting beside your bed all night, right? And that sounds mean, right? And I understand that sounds mean. And it's very understandable that she's having these feelings. But I just think, in a sense, maybe it's good that this happened. You know what I mean? Because it's like I can relate to her emotionally so much, and I understand the feeling she has, especially because Puck left too. And that's also like very rough. And I understand that one a lot more than Subaru leaving her bedside, you know? Um, I don't know. I guess just my thoughts on it are just kind of unclear, right? Because again, it's like obviously she can have expectations for people around her, right? The problem is it's just those expectations that she has for like Subaru, right? The way that the things she expects him to do. She sees those as almost like a reward for her meeting these imagined expectations that she thinks she needs to meet in order for him to like love her, or in order for anyone to care about her at all, right? So Subaru doing something that like breaks that and then showing her that he still cares about her anyway is a good step towards her breaking that line of thinking, right? I guess that's my point, you know. But I don't think Subaru like I don't think that's the reason why he left, right? And I don't think that means she can't be mad about it, right? At least like a little bit, you know. And she's mad at Puck too, and I don't know. I don't know what to think about Puck. I really don't know what to think about Puck. Because Puck has always been like, um, almost like a shield for Amelia, right? Like he has always been he's been this thing that she can always rely on. It is this easy relationship that she's always had that she doesn't have to worry about because Amelia was Puck's entire world, like literally, right? So it was kind of like this, it was like this safe thing that she had to go to, where it was like, you know, if all of the other relationships in her life, she has this constant worry about these expectations and all of this, you know, with Puck was the one thing that she like didn't have that with in a way, right? Because it was truly unconditional, and she was at like peace with that, right? Because of the past that they've had and all of this, you know. So Puck leaving, right? Of course, it's like scary for her, right? Because it's like that one relationship she had that was so easy and was so like stress free in a way that she was able to think about like that is gone now, you know. But again, it's like Puck being gone means that now it's either she has to go insane, like she did in episode 11, or like mentally and emotionally work these things out, right? And be able to like have like feel like more secure in her relationships with people other than Puck, you know? You shouldn't break a promise. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't disagree with her, right? It's just rough because these are things that I very much understand her being so upset by. But I think her facing this kind of adversity like this will be like good for her in the long run, right? So yeah, yeah. And Subaru thinks, hmm, he gets mad at her, right? Which I kind of is what she wants, right? Because we have to understand, right? Like her problem here is one, she thinks if Subaru isn't mad at her, then that means he has no expectations towards her, and his love for her doesn't mean anything, right? That it's like that it's just doesn't count, basically, right? And two, she thinks if people get mad at her for things she does, that means she's not meeting their expectations, and that means they're going to abandon her forever. Right? So what Subaru does here is he gets mad at her, right? He vents these frustrations, right? And says all this stuff, right? But he also shows her that he isn't going to abandon her forever, which is like kind of just the perfect thing to do, right? Because she has to get past that fear of people being mad at her, and also the fear of like, because the fear of people getting mad at her is a like, that's why she has like this whole thing about expectations in the first place, right? Is because the way people have always treated her, it always starts at this baseline of like negativity, and she thinks she has to like work above that, right? um so she has to be fine with people getting mad at her, which is what she wanted from Subaru, right? But just because he got mad at her, it doesn't mean that he hates her or he's going to abandon her, right? It's just we just have to break the mindset about like this idea that love is only purely conditional, you know. Um and it's just interesting. It's different than like Subaru's mindset, right? Um because it's not that she I guess it's hard to put it into words, right? Like Subaru's mindset, his own self-esteem comes from a different place. Like his lack of self-esteem, right? Comes from a different place than Amelia's does, right? But it's at the same time it is a shared and similar issue that they both understand. That's why Subaru is able to relate to it so well. And like I understand this, you know? When I tried to do it for you, you insisted only you could do it, which is good, right? It's such a conflict, right? That she wants to meet people's expectations, right? That's why she insists on doing the trial, but the weight of those expectations are like too much for her to bear, you know? Like she puts everything on it. She thinks everything is at stake, you know? Like her relationship with everyone, you know? Hmm. The end, when your pet and guardian take off, you abandon your duties and run off to sulk and cry your eyes out. I can't put up with it any longer. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean he's gonna abandon you, right? That like, yeah, it only makes sense that you'd think of me that way, right? Yeah, like, and this just shows like the horrible emotional situation she's in, right? That when Super Ashley is mad at her, which she won't accept it if like she refuses to accept the idea that he's not, she immediately goes to, "Oh, so you hate me, so it's over," right? Like exactly, you know, and that's just like she. God, I love what they do with the eyes, right? How she is in his eyes this whole time, right? Like reflected in his eyes. I guess you can imagine a lot of things from it, right? But he is looking at her and like seeing her like realistically, I suppose, right? Seeing who she is, perhaps in a way, despite her efforts to like define herself as like, you know, all of these expectations that she wants to meet, you know? It's like she doesn't want people to see this real version of her that she thinks is like so pathetic in a way, you know? She has to work so hard to meet these expectations of others, you know? So she has to earn it, right? And it's like he like sees through that in a way, right? And her eyes, throughout like this entire scene, are like so cloudy, right? Because she's like crying, right? Until the very end when she blinks and she sees Subaru, and Subaru is reflected in her eyes, you know? God, it's just so it's so great. It's so beautiful, you know? Oh my god. Hmm. Where did all of this come from, right? Because to her, that's just not an answer. She doesn't understand how that connects at all, right? She doesn't get it, you know? He says, yeah, all these little things about her that he loves, of course, right? I respect the way you do your best to help others, right? It's like what I think about this that's so interesting is, of course, this helping other people for her is so deeply tied to the meeting expectations in order for her to think that people like that she's earned it, you know, that she's earned the love for other people to care about her at all, you know. And for Subaru, I mean, it's just one thing in this long list of things that he loves about her, right? Like, it's not like it's discounted in any way just because that's why she's doing it, right? Of course not, you know. Hmm. Yeah, and she's so mad about it. She literally just like doesn't I get it, I think, right? It's almost like offensive to her, the idea that he can love her anyway, you know? It's like it's I imagine, I guess, that it like in her mind it like devalues like her efforts almost, or it devalues the idea of love at all, you know? That he can love her despite her like not doing everything perfectly, you know? Hmm. You're saying that I'm utterly useless and that you couldn't put up with me. I So why would you forgive me for being so useless? If that answer is all you want, I've said it over and over. Yeah, because he loves you, right? Yeah. Hmm. You're not an angel or a goddess, you're an ordinary girl. Exactly. And God, and all she wants is to be seen as just an ordinary girl, right? Like, she's going too far in a way. She thinks almost that she needs to be seen as like an angel or a goddess, right? Um, Not like consciously, because in a way she is so happy at the idea of being seen as just Amelia, right? Um, but her own like standard for herself, her own expectations for herself are essentially for her to be an angel or a goddess, right? She thinks that if she fails in any way at anything, that everyone's gonna abandon her and hate her. You know? Hmm. You feel so bad that you want to cry sometimes, and you want to run away from things that hurt. I get that. Yeah, I like literally. Even including that weakness and the parts you might even call ugly, he loves you anyway. Exactly, right? Because that's all part of you as well, right? Because it comes from like this place of insecurity too. This idea that she only wants to present these parts of herself that she imagines like meeting the standard that other people expect for her, you know? Um, if anything, I would say it's like I obviously it plays into like her low self-esteem for herself and all of this, right? It just all comes from this place of insecurity, you know? Like it's so much like Subaru. It's so much like the act that Subaru would put on um in like some of those earlier episodes in like the second arc, for example, you know, when he had that super happy-go-lucky attitude, he was going to do everything perfectly and right and run around the mansion, you know it's like Amelia isn't that extreme. But it's almost like she thinks that's how she has to be for people to love her, you know? You just named all the things that make me useless, and yet you still say you love me. I would go as far to say that he wouldn't love you if you didn't have those things about you, right? Because then you wouldn't be an ordinary person, you know? You would be an impossible angel or goddess, like he said, you know? You wouldn't be human, right? Like, right, because it's like those kinds of imperfections, right, are what lead to arguments and moments like this, right? Which is where like real emotional development and like emotional closeness with another person like comes, like how can you expect me to believe you? Got it completely wrong. Exactly. Yeah, it's not because I believe in you that I love you. I believe in you because I love you. Exactly. Yeah, just loving someone isn't a reason to believe in them. So I guess like the problem, the problem that they're both having here in a sense is what the hell does it mean to love somebody, right? What it makes me think of is in Monogatari, like spoilers, I guess, for a pretty early episode in Nekomonogatari Kuro, when Araragi and Skihi are talking about the nature of love, and Skihi talks about how it's like all of these, you come up with like invented reasons for why you love another person, right? It's like this you can't boil love down to some specific reason why you love another person, right? Like there's no just like easy answer for like, oh, I love this person because of X or Y, right? That's just not a thing, you know. You can come up with reasons, right? Like Subaru listed all of these things that he does love about her, but it's not like any specific one of those things is the reason why he loves her, right? If she shaved all of her hair off tomorrow, for example, right? Because he mentioned he likes her hair, that doesn't mean he would hate her, right? That doesn't mean the love would go away. She can change as a person and be, change completely, be someone, change so many things about herself, and she would still be herself, and I'm sure Subaru would still love her, right? Just loving you isn't a reason to believe in you, then who the hell would willingly go through all this suffering to come and help a pain in the ass like you? God, and maybe that's what she needs to hear, right? Because in a way, like, she reacts so badly to like negativity like this, right? To someone doubting her, she just goes extreme doomer mode, right? Like she immediately thinks like, oh, it makes sense you would think of me that way, you're gonna leave me forever, you hate me, it's over, right? Like, so she needs someone like Subaru to have this attitude towards her, like so badly, for her to like I frankly like get a thicker skin towards it, right? Um, again, not that it's like a personal failing on her part in any way, right? Like she has faced horrible discrimination for her entire life, so I understand it, right? Ah, God. Even now, I feel like I might puke, but I'm still standing in front of you. I never asked you to do that. You're just being selfish. And it's like, she's always had this attitude of like, what it means to be selfish, which is so interesting, right? Like it's like she thinks her desire to like prove herself is in some way selfish in and of itself, right? Which is like, I just don't even know what to think about that, right? You're not thinking about my feelings at all. You have no idea how I feel every time I see you getting hurt because of me. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean he's not thinking about your feelings. That's just a reality of like relationships and people caring about you, right? Like I and it's so telling about her own thoughts about this kind of thing because she thinks that about like her relationships with other people like the other way around, right? She thinks if she shows any weakness or that she's being hurt or that anything at all, she thinks that the other person is going to see that as some horrible failing on her part and they're going to abandon her and hate her forever, right? So she thinks the same thing of like Subaru getting hurt. She thinks that's like not something you're supposed to do, right? All I think about is how to look good in front of you. That probably should be your attitude, Subaru. But I heat of the moment in the argument. Hmm. If you if you just done what I asked you to, that would have been enough. Why wouldn't you even do that? You actually hate me, don't you? Why? Why did you break your promise? If you'd stayed with me until morning like you promised, I think I could have believed you. I could have believed you and trusted you with everything. And this is what I mean when I'm saying like I'm really of two minds about this, right? The idea that it's not good for her to be thinking of it this way, I think, right? It's not that it is unfair for her to have this expectation of Subaru, right? For him to have kept his promise. I don't think that's like an unfair thing for her to think, right? Um, it's just she takes it too far, I think, right? That she shouldn't react like this to a situation like that, I guess, right? And like that's again, that sounds like a mean thing to say, right? I just think that's kind of the heart of it, I guess, right? Um, is if Subaru doing what he did, leaving her bedside, leaves her to think that it's impossible for him to love her and that he's going to abandon her forever and that he hates her, and that he should scream at her and that everyone's gonna leave her for the rest of her life. Like she shouldn't think like that, right? That's like such a bad, negative way to think. you know, I guess that's just what it boils down to. And in a sense, there not really being an answer that Subaru can give her as to why he did that, right? Because in a sense, he just did, right? He broke the promise. I understand that it hurts her, and I understand that Subaru probably has a reason for having done it, but that doesn't like fix it in a way, right? Um, it is just something that hurts her. And I think both of them just have to be able to navigate that kind of situation because that's just how relationships work, right? If Amelia thinks that her relationship with everyone has to be perfect forever, or it means they hate her, that's just it just doesn't work like that, right? Since Puck left, my memories have been slowly coming back. Nights in my mind that I don't recognize, conversations I don't remember. More and more of them keep coming back. Yeah. Hmm. And she has this, she thinks about her memories. When all the memories come back, what's going to happen to me? Which I think is a very understandable thing, right? Because, like, who you are as a person is made up so much by your experiences and your memories, right? It's like, in a sense, it's like you can imagine the person she was before is a completely different person than the way she is now, right? Completely separated by the memories and experiences that like the past version of herself and herself now had, right? So she thinks of it as being like she's going to be a completely different person. And because of her insecurities about like the idea of love and Subaru's feelings for her, she thinks that could mean that Subaru is like not going to love her anymore because she's going to be like a different person. She's going to change so much. Is this me really me? I forgot so many important things. I even forgot about Mother. Hmm. Subaru thinks back to his own mother, which it's so good because like Subaru himself essentially tried to forget about them in a way, right? At least from my perspective in the anime, he never thought about his parents like at all, right? He never thought about like these problems he was facing in the world before coming to this world, you know. He put it all out of his mind, you know. He focused on, oh, I'm the, you know, main character of an isekai now, awesome. So it's so I feel like he can relate to it in a way. What matters isn't how you start or what happens in the middle; it's how it ends. No matter what memories you get back, it won't change anything. I love you, and I'm always going to love you. Hmm. If the me that you say you love goes away, and this again, it's so linked to her idea of like these expectations. She thinks that Subaru loves this version of herself that she has been like trying so hard to be for him, right? Could you still? And he can, of course he can, right? No matter what happens, you're not going away. Exactly. You're always you. If you don't want this, then dodge. And she doesn't dodge. So, I mean, come on, right? She doesn't dodge. So, what does that mean, right? In some way, that means something for her, that she's able to accept it, right? Of course you could say that this is just her wanting to meet expectations or something, you know? But I want to believe it means more than that, you know? Because like in episode 11, you know, she kissed him, right? It's like, you know, that's something that she thinks he would want, you know? It all just depends on her mindset, right? It just has to be, she just has to break out of this mentality, you know? No matter how many hopeless sides of you I see, and even if we argue like this, I'm never going to stop loving you. Exactly, right? We needed an argument so badly, right? For her to, like, get through this, you know? God, we had to throw her into the deep end, you know? Hmm. Because you love me. Well, there's unfamiliar memories flooding you. It's only natural that you feel anxious and scared. Yeah, God, her mental state. Just. But the path you've walked until now won't go away. You're going to be fine. What matters isn't how you start, it's how it ends. The woman I respect the most in the whole world said so. I love this so much that Subaru is able to say that his mother is the woman he respects the most in the whole world. The reason I love that so much is because it makes me think about like what I said back it was season 2 episode 4, right? In parent and child, right? What I said in that episode when I said something about how like Subaru would have had the capacity to change as a person in a way other than what happened all of here and you know what's happened since the beginning of the story, being transported to this world, everything that's happened, you know. The fact that he's changed as a person shows he had the capacity to change, and he could have done that despite these exact experiences he's had, you know. Other things could have happened to him, right? Like he could have, you know, he could have changed for the better, right? um and I think him recognizing that his mother is the woman he respects the most in the whole world still, like, I think in a way that's almost like him acknowledging that, like in a vague sense, right? There's the reality that lesson that his mother taught him there. It's like if he had learned that lesson in the world back then without having come here, he could have changed as a person like then too, right? It's like that is the most important lesson he's learned, essentially, right? From the woman he respects the most, and he could have learned it whether he was in the real world or if he was here, right? Hmm. If you're still scared, we'll find it. We will find the precious feeling that pushes her on, essentially. Yeah, that lets her run forward. And it doesn't have to be love for Subaru, right? It doesn't have to be, you know? Um, which again, which kind of just goes perfectly with what I was just saying about this idea that it doesn't have to be like this any specific thing, right? It's about the idea of this like capacity to change, you know? Because it's not like if Subaru died, if it's not like if Returned by Death stopped working and Subaru died in the next episode and was gone forever. That'd be rough. But it doesn't mean Amelia would be like impossible for her to like change and be better as a person forever, right? Like, of course not, right? It doesn't have to be that, you know. Just like for Subaru, it didn't have to be all of these experiences he's had, you know. Hmm, my most precious feeling. Maybe so, right? And I love that so much because kind of in a way for Subaru, it's like kind of the most significant like character stuff we've had for him wasn't wasn't directly something from Amelia or any experience in this world either. It came back to his parents, right? It really did, you know? So for her, it doesn't really have to be Subaru either, right? Despite her being reflected in his eyes here, right? Who knows, right? Who knows? Ah, it's so good. A reason to believe. God, what a fucking episode, huh? And just so I don't forget. Garfield, covered in blood, walks up. I don't know. What are we gonna say to him? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's go through the first half of the episode now. We kind of did it backwards, but that's okay. That's okay. We get some very good backstory with Otto. This was such a good episode. Like, this Otto backstory stuff is so good too. I really enjoy it. Um, it's just really good, really good. Garfield just punches Otto. Like I don't know, but Otto's way too awesome. He got him in a pit, and he's got all these beetles. He stole his gem. I still don't understand like exactly what the purpose of the gem is. It seems like they do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't know. The Zoda bugs. Yes, yes. And we get this flashback to Otto as a child. When I was a young boy, the world was a hellish cradle, so he was born with this divine blessing, um, that lets him hear the voices of animals and all of this, right? Like any living thing, I think, right? Um, and it's like the framing of this backstory here for him really makes me think of like just children that are born with like special needs or like any kind of like issue, right? It doesn't even have to be special needs. It could be like I guess like any disability, right? In a sense, something like that, right? Because that's I think a lot of parents, that's always a worry in the back of your mind for sure, right? That your child will have some kind of issue like that, right? Like of course, um and it's especially awful when it's like his parents of course can tell there's something there's something wrong with him. That's a bad way to put it, but you know what I mean, right? There's something he's going through, and they're just helpless, right? They can't do anything about it, It just really makes me think it's like it is like a parallel to that, Um, it's like parents who were born with like a deaf child, for example, right? It's easy to like compare it to that, Um, Parents who are born with a deaf child, that's not a sentence that makes any sense. Parents who give birth to a child who is deaf, right? Um, that's like the same kind of thing where it's like as the child gets older, you'll probably be able to tell it's like, oh, they're not meeting like developmental checkpoints, this kind of thing, and you realize, unfortunately they're deaf, right? Rough. Lots of people go through it. It's not like not the end of the world, right? But it's just what it makes me think of, At that age, I had no way to know what this blessing was that I was born with. The soul of language, divine protection. The fact that it's called the soul of language makes me think too that it's like, can he understand any language that anyone speaks? Has he talked about that before? Maybe. That would also be quite the boon being a merchant, huh? Being able to literally talk to anyone in any language, if so, right? Hmm. And I love the way their voices are like so drowned out, right? It shows that he's unable to like communicate with them, right? Yeah. I mean, it also reminds me of like some like social disabilities, I guess, that like lead to like a communication, like I guess social expectations of like communication being like difficult. It reminds me of a whole lot of stuff. It's hard to say exactly what you want to say. This could be like an analog for. My parents tried their hardest to understand my abnormality, but any who don't have a divine protection can never understand. Yeah, yeah. That line too makes you think so much that it's like if you again, it's like so much like if you have like a deaf child, right? It's gonna be so hard to like relate to that and understand it. But his older brother comes up with a solution to be able to write. Yeah, yeah. I wonder what he wrote down. I wonder what it said. Man, it's you can tell, unfortunately, in this flashback scene that there had to be a lot of stuff that they cut out from the books. I'm like, sure. But I mean, they only have so much time, and you know how anime fans are. I'm sure there were a bunch of people who said this was like boring and pointless. Oh, it's just a flashback scene, blah blah backstory. I hate people who watch anime. Hmm. Ah, man. So what I love about this too is it's also deeply tied to like communication with others, right? Like it's that's the struggle that he had like growing up as a child, right? There was like this big part of his life back then, right? As he said later, right? It's like the first time he cried out since he was born, and it's like it was like a rebirth for him, you know? Um and it's so deeply tied to this idea of communication with others, which is what he's been so fucking pissed at Subaru about, right? About Subaru not communicating and like doing everything by himself and doing all this shit, you know? It makes so much sense why it's like why Oto like Subaru has all like these preconceptions in a way, like the way he's supposed to act. A lot of it's like gender stuff about how he's like a man and like masculinity stuff, I guess, he's supposed to not show his feelings, that's a sign of weakness and all this kind of thing, um, and I guess it makes sense that Oto is kind of like he has like different thoughts about that, because like communication with others is something that he struggled with for so long that it makes sense that he has like a more like grounded view of it, that it's just the way that Subaru was acting is so stupid, right? Um, Obviously for Subaru it's more than just like this fear of sharing his emotions with others. It's for more reasons than just that. It's like his it's his whole thing, his low self-esteem, not wanting to burden others in a way because of that, thinking he is the one who has to like do stuff for others, all that kind of thing, right? It all comes together, but all of it just comes back to the same point, which is not communicating with people who care about you is a stupid way to live your life, right? When he turned 10, he could start hearing their voices. Yeah, it's like he figured it all out. He can understand animals. The voices of these bugs is so fucking stupid. And like that cat later too. Oh god. So he has to keep it a secret, which is interesting. I wonder, yeah, many people who would try and take advantage of it. I wonder, like, what, like, socially, how, like, these kinds of divine blessings are, like, viewed in this world, We've never really gotten a feel for that before, I feel like. We've never really gotten into it, But I wonder, because he is someone who's, he's different, right? And unfortunately, that's never good, right? Not for society at large, for the most part. People are known to treat you badly. And he summons, like, the biblical pestilence. Like, God. Man. After that, I sealed my divine protection and swore to never use it again. I wonder what that means to, like, seal it. Is that, like, a literal, like, some kind of process? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really understand this scene, to be frank. So this guy's mad at him for uh, being with his girlfriend. I guess Oto wasn't. He wants to go around and find out the truth from all these animals. And they say a bunch of stuff, and then he says that, like, I guess this girl was cheating on him with a bunch of people. I guess I don't know. That's the kind of thing where I feel like there has to be more to that I'm missing out on. Unfortunately, I made an enemy of the daughter of the most powerful person in town, and they ran me out. Found his independence as a merchant, got a bunch of money, figured it all out. Until all this, yeah, back in the third arc, right? Man, dumped in this cave. God, I love like they love doing this with eyes so much, like showing like people reflected in them or like light leaving them, this kind of thing. It's always so good. It's always so good. But Ricardo saves him. And even in this moment, it's like what Ricardo says here, right? That he shouldn't cry in front of another person. Well, Oto's, I don't know, like I think he rejects that in a sense, He's so he finds crying specifically to be so meaningful, right? It certainly means a lot to him. So it's like when he sees someone like Subaru refusing to cry, essentially refusing to reach out to other people at all, refusing to show his emotions in any way, in a sense. Of course, it frustrates him. It makes so much sense. It's so good. It's so good. I realize that every time I cry, it marks a rebirth in my life. God, my first cry as a baby after receiving life. My second cry after learning of my family's love and realizing where my heart lay. And this day, the third, when I had a brush with death and gained an understanding of my purpose and reason for living. God, I love him so much. All to help a friend. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. All these animals think he's gonna die. Jesus. I want to believe that Garfield wouldn't kill them, right? That he's not just gonna kill Ram and Otto, but I guess I just don't know. I certainly hope not, right? I mean, this is kind of the loop where we're trying to like succeed, so I certainly hope Garfield didn't murder them both. And I just hope Garfield wouldn't do that, because again, it's like Garfield's motivation and what he's doing are just still so just unclear, right? It's just we still just like don't understand what he's actually doing or anything, you know? Hmm. Oh man, it's like and like what he's doing here, right? He specifically spells it out, right? He's doing all of this to yeah, buy Subaru time, you know. Um and it's so interesting because this is exactly what Subaru wants to avoid, you know, like his lack of communication with others kind of came down to this is not wanting other people to like be hurt for him, you know. And Subaru just has to come to terms with that in some way, you know. It's impossible to avoid all of it. Not that you can't be greedy and try, right? Odo has some bombs, but unfortunately, it is not enough. Even when Ram shows up, Garfield just enters the furry mode, and he is far too powerful. Unfortunately. Assumedly, I guess we don't. I mean, he shows up covered in blood at the end, so I assume he won this fight. But I don't know. I don't know. Who knows what happened? I guess. I love Ram so much. I love her attitude. She's so like God. Hmm. This is interesting. Doesn't joining their side mean you're going against what the Bastard Rosewall wants? I give my very soul to fulfill my master's fondest desire, but in my own way. What an interesting... I don't know what to think about that, because in a sense, I don't know if this is against Rosewall's desires, just because Rosewall thinks this is impossible, what Subaru, like, proposed to bet here. So I wonder if, for one, Rosewall just doesn't care, because he thinks if everything goes as well as it can and Subaru fails anyway, which he thinks is an inevitability, that will just more effectively crush Subaru's like spirit and make him more like him, right? So yeah, that could make sense to me. But I look forward to seeing what flowers bloom from him, so I keep pruning and brushing off the bugs. What a way to put it, huh? I have no idea what gives you such high hopes for Subaru. He's weak, useless, and incompetent. Can't even make tea right. And yet, we love him anyway. Like, come on, come on. When it's do or die, he does have bizarrely good timing. Right, yeah. No kidding. It's the only path to victory. And yeah, so Garfield transforms. Ram holds her own for a while, but I don't think it worked in the end, sadly. And yeah, it's so this is bloodlight coming from her horn, right? I wonder why. Did she use too much magic? Or I assume, right? Hmm. Oto showing, of course, just like always, he's always willing to do things for the people he cares about, right? Hmm. And we're back where we started, in the discussion at least. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. Man, what a good episode though, huh? What a good episode. I just I don't know. I think that has to be my favorite episode now. I really think it is. It's hard to compare them. Just very different episodes, right? It's so hard to say what my favorite episode is. Episode 13 will always be so special in a way. But so will this episode, I feel like, So I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, I guess. If I had tried to make like a ReZero episode tier list, God, that would be impossible. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I think we covered everything. I hope we did. That was an incredible episode. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.